Live from the Pour My Beer studios in Chicago, it's the Hospitality Hangout podcast with the restaurant guy and the finance guy. We've got our self-pouring beer ready to go because it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and we encourage you to grab a beer at home and join us.
I like it. I like what you did there, Shachi. That was clever. Listen, I want to welcome you a little more formally to the Hospitality Hangout, a hospitality-focused podcast where the founders of Branded Hospitality Ventures are sharing their insights and bringing technology and innovation leaders that are making things happen in the industry we love. My name is Jimmy Frischling, otherwise known as the finance guy. I'd like to introduce my partner, Mr. Michael Schatzberg. I guess I'm reintroducing, bringing him back, also known as the restaurant guy.
And thanks for that kind introduction, Jimmy. And to all those listening, feel free to call me Shatsy. Together, we are the personalities behind Branded Strategic Hospitality. We work at the intersection of hospitality, technology, innovation, capital, and, of course, friendly fribbles. Can't forget the friendly fribble, Jimmy. Jimmy, I
like what you did there. I like what you did there again.
But I did that. I got to tell you, Jimmy,
good.
One of the biggest challenges restaurant operators have today, I think, is labor. I mean, can you agree on that?
I absolutely agree on that you can ask any restaurateur, I think, on a global basis, and it's labor.
Labor is challenging. As an operator in the market, and we've got quite a few stores in New York City, you have to look for any edge you can get. Any edge you can get, Jimmy. What if there was a report that showed what other restaurants were paying for labor? What if you knew what everyone was paying around you, all the competition?
What do you got, inside information? Is that like a FINRA violation or something?
Yes,
you can't do that.
Yes.
That doesn't exist.
Jimmy, there is. I've seen it. Our work has created the QSR wage report, okay? Our Work is amazing. You go to ourwork.com. They're an awesome company. They have created this QSR wage report. First of all, it's free. It costs nothing, Jimmy.
I love that price. I love that.
Yep. It features data from
You're from Jersey, you say data. I'm from New York, I say data.
Potato. Over 100,000 quick service jobs in over 900 zip codes, Jimmy. It gives you all that data. So Our Work's easy-to-use software can double applicant flow and increase retention by over 30%. Jimmy, that saves money. You know that.
Saves money.
Right now, they are loaded in over 8,000 restaurants across brands that you may have heard, Jimmy. I don't know if you've heard of McDonald's.
McDowell's?
Yep, not McDowell's. That's another one. And
yes.
By the way, I think it's based here in Chicago, McDowell's. Yeah. But this is McDonald's and also Domino's. Domino's uses it. So listen, Jimmy, if you want to get this report, go to QSRwages.com, okay? You put in the code podcast and you get a free gift, okay? And you get to QSRwages.com and you get this report. It's unbelievable. And by the way, Jimmy, just so you know, over 5 million employees in the U.S. right now are working with Our Work. So all I have to say to you is one thing, Jimmy, and then we're going to jump in this podcast.
Yes.
Ourwork.com.
Very good.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's what I can say. I got to tell you, I appreciate Our Work more probably for one reason. That's like the most accurate you've ever been with numbers. Like throughout this podcast, you're going to abuse some numbers, but everything you just said there, I think was accurate. Nice job on
because somebody wrote it down for me, Jimmy.
That is excellent. All right.
Anyway,
listen,
we've got an incredible show.
I want to dive into it, so let's get it on. We are very excited today to welcome and introduce our guest, Mr. Sherif Mityas, CEO of BRIX Holdings. For those of you who don't know BRIX Holdings, let me tell you some of the brands that they own.
The brands I think you're going to know.
Let me tell you the brands. Friendly's, boom. Red Mango, boom. Smoothie Factory and Kitchen, boom, boom. Super Salad, Orange Leaf, Humble Donut, and we've got a lot more to share with our friend Sherif.
My head's spinning from all those brands. Well, Friendly's. I know you love Dairy Queen, Jim. I know you're Grant Lake.
Yes, Dairy Queen, Grant Lake. But I got to tell you, I grew up on Friendly's. I was telling Sherif before we started the treat we would get with my dad if we were playing nicely and he was going to play basketball and he took my brothers and I, give our mom a break. If we did well when my dad was doing his thing, we got to go to Friendly's, and the memories I have. And then, by the way, it never stopped. There was a Friendly's down the road from me in Middletown, Connecticut. I got to tell you, I've had Friendly's my whole life. Yes, DQ during the summertime was down the road from Brant Lake Camp, but Friendly's has been and continues to be a place of great memories with my dad and my brothers, and now with myself and my wife and daughter. So super fun time.
I just know at Camp Lennox for me up in the Berkshires, man, when you did something good, when you won a sporting event or a tournament or something, man, it was Friendly's and a Fribble or a Jim Dandy, or I don't know if they still have the Banana Royale, but that was one of my favorites, man. I
like what you said there. If you were good, if you won, yes, let's go to Friendly's. Listen,
we have to have Sherif talk. We could just talk about Friendly's for an hour and maybe then just say.
Yes, but maybe our guest don't even think he's here. He is here. But listen, we're going to bring him in one moment. We're just going to kick off our usual Trivia Tuesday, never to be confused with Taco Tuesday. Longtime listeners know how this works. Shatsy is a cagey veteran of the Trivia Tuesdays.
Did I win last week or I lost last week?
You won last week again. You're killing it. We're going to give you
that was a job, Jimmy. Forget about it.
We're going to give you 2 truths and a lie about our friend Sherif. Remember, 3 facts. 2 are true. 1 is, let's say, false. I don't like to use the word lie. It's false. It's fake. Here we go. 3 facts. Fact 1: Sherif met his wife on a dating app. Fact 2.
That's false. He's too good looking. There's no way he was on the dating app. He's no way. Absolutely.
All right. Fact 2: Sherif competed in the Junior Olympics. It's a good one. Fact 3.
I'm going to think about that one.
Fact 3. Sherif attended every major sporting event across all sports at least once. So
okay,
fact 1.
We speak of that, I just want to ask if when we speak about, are we talking about like U.S. major, like NHL, MLB, NBA, NFL?
Yes,
is that what we're talking about? Okay.
Yes. You didn't have to.
I got this one nailed. I think I know what it is.
You didn't have to see a European Premier League when they visited the.
We were starting to get into that kind of stuff.
It's the majors. It's the majors.
Football league, like we're getting into that.
No, not XFL, not USFL, not Canadian. We're talking the majors, the big ones.
I've got this nailed, Jimmy, and at the end of the episode, I am going to crush this one.
All right. So listen. Fact 1 was wife on a dating app. Fact 2 was Junior Olympics. Fact 3 was every major sporting event. And finally, you tune into the rest of the show, you'll hear the truth about Sherif at the end. Now, we get to bring our friend Sherif in. He's questioning why he signed up for this, who got him hooked up with us. But Sherif, in all seriousness, thank you for joining us. We'd love to have you introduce yourself, and please introduce your amazing company, because you guys are really one of my longstanding favorites in this industry. And please, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Shatsy. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
That's a lie. He's already lying, Jimmy. No, he's already lying.
It's one of my facts.
There it is.
I've followed you guys for a long time, and I always appreciate your insight into our industry and what you bring. But it's a pleasure to be here today. And as you mentioned, I have the pleasure of being able to lead our team here at BRIX Holdings, and we have a collection of great brands. Obviously, headlined by Friendly's, an iconic 88th birthday this year, 88 years, right?
Holy cow!
It's and to you guys, everyone's got a Friendly's story. Anytime I go really across the country, they either worked at Friendly's, they went after a sporting event, they had their first date over a milkshake. It just brings back such great memories, and it's ice cream. Who doesn't like ice cream when you're sitting down and having a great meal? And the Jim Dandy is still there. The Banana Royale is still there.
Royale, you got it, Shats.
It's all there, and we love bringing that. But we've got a number of other great brands. Obviously, our frozen yogurt, Red Mango and Orange Leaf, our Super Salad, our new Smoothie Factory Plus Kitchen, reconcepted, and Humble Donuts. And then I'm going to wait, but we've got one more coming.
We got breaking news. Hold on for the breaking news, because we're going to take a deeper dive into everything going on at BRIX Holdings. But before we do that, I like to get to know our guests and really what makes our guest tick. Who is Sherif? How did he get to this position? I mean, I know you dabbled in movies and video games before diving into hospitality. I mean, so you're not just the CEO of this incredible restaurant holding company, but you were also listed as the most admired CEO by the Dallas Business Journal, one of the most incredible, respected periodicals in the land. I mean, Dallas Business Journal says you are the most admired CEO. I'm going to agree with that. I would never argue with them. How did you get into the hospitality business?
Sherif, this is Shatsy's Fraser Crane moment. Shatsy's,
I love it.
Shatsy's listening. He's listening.
And if you like it, by the way, for $150 an hour, I could do weeklies with you.
I love it. Yeah, no, you're my new press agent. So we.
I was going to be your new shrink, by the way. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So my career has been mostly in retail before this, and as you pointed out, I had the pleasure of running the Hollywood Video and Movie Gallery chain when we had.
Oh, you're kidding me!
3,000 stores.
Yeah.
Game Crazy was part of our group, so I got to learn how to play video games and watched lots of movies and went to the studios and did that for a while, and then got connected to restaurants because why not? Take the hardest part of retail and add a manufacturing facility, and now make less money, and you get to go into the restaurant industry.
Yeah, it sounds like you definitely need a shrink. You got to get your head examined.
I got my head examined, right? I went, selling things that had 50, 60% margin, down to 5%. What we do now, right? Yeah. So yeah, let's make it harder on ourselves. So had the opportunity to join the restaurant sector. As you guys know, my first real stint was with TGI Fridays. I had the opportunity to be their chief experience officer for a number of years, and then got this great opportunity to connect with the BRIX Holdings Group and really just lead an amazing team here, and both here in Dallas as well as we have a team up in New York that leads my Friendly's brand for me, and it's been a great ride, and looking forward to continuing to grow this portfolio.
That is awesome.
That is awesome. And I want to jump in. We do have some breaking news, and clearly I guilted our producer and partner, Julie, to let me have a little breaking news. But before I do that, I want to replay something to our listeners that Sherif said, because he said it casually. He said it as a matter of fact, because he's a pro in this industry. He talked about adding the manufacturing facility when he mentioned retail. I can't emphasize enough, when I think about the complexity of this industry and how often misunderstood it is, imagine having a manufacturing facility and a retail facility either a wall apart or maybe not even a wall apart, steps away from each other. If you think about that complexity, then I think the guest who projects their own experience as a guest versus what it actually takes to orchestrate the manufacturing, the retail, the guest engagement, it is a mind-blowing experience. So I couldn't help but jump in on that.
Into a Nike store, Jimmy, a Nike store.
And imagine if they're making the sneakers in the back. Yeah.
They get the sewing machines and the leather and the yes.
So I love that Sherif just said that, because while it rolled off him, because anyone in this industry knows that's the case, I love that he brought it up so I could highlight it. But listen, everyone, all our long-term listeners know that we love breaking news. And I admit sometimes it's maybe not breaking, although it's new to us, or maybe we could just claim it as our own for breaking news. But actually, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, today we have real breaking news. Hey, David Faber over on CNBC, eat your heart out. I'm breaking this news. Just yesterday, BRIX launched their newest concept, Pizza Jukebox. By the way, I freaking love that name. Pizza Jukebox makes me smile so much. That's right. You're hearing it here first on the podcast. Pizza Jukebox is a new, fully automated robotic pizza making concept where you can create and cook a customized pizza in, wait for it, 3.5 minutes. It takes you to listen, to dance, sing along to your favorite songs. Listen, Sherif, going to you. Congratulations. Can you give us the inside scoop, your playlist on the new store and the guest experience? But super excited.
What do you do with the playlist on the news? I love that. I love how you throw those little play on words. I love it.
Throwing it in there.
That was good. Yeah.
Pizza Jukebox, baby.
We're very excited. Pizza Jukebox launched, and it is our foray into fully automated restaurant dine-in experience.
Awesome.
So forget all those guys where you order the pizza and you sit at home and wait for it delivered and you just get something in a cardboard box. You want to come to this dine-in experience and see a robot and an automated machine make a pizza, and to your point, Jimmy, in the time it takes you to listen to your favorite song.
Yep.
And so robot does it all. Takes the crusts, puts it in the machine, cheese, sauce. Actually, a little arm slices the pepperoni fresh off the stick. You can add the sausage if you want, tailor it, and in 3.5 minutes for the 16-inch pizza, you're enjoying not just the pizza, but the whole experience. The experience of watching this thing happen just for you. And
I love it.
Shat, you know where we're going with this. You know where we're going. Pizza spins.
That's like a record player.
Yeah, pizza spins, jukebox. I love it. And and I think look, I'd love to dig a little bit more into this because there has to be a lot more in the background of this. But yes. I know Jimmy always says his big line is "It takes a village." I think he coined the phrase. I'm not sure, but I'm going to give him credit for "It takes a village." And I think you guys have partnered up with some very good friends of ours over at Middleby and Middleby Innovation Kitchen. So shout out to those guys and their L2F. That's their whole robotics kind of arm to them, and Middleby is they crush it in the biz. Without them, there'd be nothing being cooked in a kitchen because they own every kitchen equipment manufacturing company or brand.
We wouldn't have a kitchen. We wouldn't have one.
We wouldn't have a kitchen. There's nothing. So can you share a little bit about the backstory and the R&D that you did and how this came about, the name and what you're doing with Middleby, et cetera?
Absolutely, yeah. So our friends at Middleby, to your point, have been great. When we started talking to them, they introduced us to L2F and said, listen, we like what you guys are doing. You're thinking about technology in a new way and not just about putting technology behind the scenes to save labor and waste, but actually putting technology in front of the guest to drive more of that dine-in experience. And we think we have something partnering with you guys to make that come to life. And so it was really working through, okay, so how is this going to work? How are guests going to interact with it? What's the kind of ordering and pickup and kind of engagement with human and machine that really would set this apart? And so, went through kind of all that, ate a lot of pizza, because you've got to measure everything, right? You like how much sauce, how much cheese, how much pepperoni, how much sausage. And, where we're going to get to, though, is personalization, right? So my goal on this is, there's one thing that says consistency, right? Robotics, automation. You can always put 45 pepperoni slices every time. It's consistent, no human error, always be the same, right? But Jimmy, you might like 60 on yours, and Shatsy, you might like 30 on yours.
Got that right.
I think you're a little light on the 60 on Jimmy.
Well, maybe a little light. But imagine now the robot knowing who you are when you order, knowing your preference. You get a personalized pizza every time the way you like it. The way you like it. Right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you get it like a little crispy if you want a little crispy?
A little crispier? Yeah, we could do the timing on the ovens different. We could do so many things that tailors everything to an individual consumer. Now think about the power of that, even beyond pizza. So we're thinking about this now beyond this concept. How do we take that personalization? Because personalization used to be all about, and today it's about marketing, right? I can send you a specific, email or a deal. How about I take personalization to food? And it's no longer a singular menu.
That's where it's going, man. It's
your menu.
Understanding consumer preferences. What do I like, and getting what a consumer really wants. It's perfect.
Exactly. Right.
Sherif, I think you blew Shatsy away because the fact that we just spent the last few minutes talking about pizza making, talking about personalization, and Shatsy didn't bring up Seinfeld and didn't bring up Kramer and didn't bring up he wants to put cucumber on his pizza. You can't put the cucumber.
Cucumber for that. You can't put cucumber on a pizza.
Can't put cucumber on a pizza. Can't do that. Can't do that. Got to draw a line somewhere. And there's personalization, and then there's crazy. Okay, listen. Crazy. I want to stay on topic of innovation. While a launch of a pizza Jukebox is truly absolutely going to turn tables. I'm sticking with the puns here, Shatsy. Going to turn tables. This is not the only innovation coming out of BRIX's portfolio. As we talked about at the top of the show, and Sherif, you were teasing it, now we're going to dive into it. Friendly's, the 88-year-old brand, this iconic brand, is making waves, talking heads with a major, and I may add, successful push. We're making Friendly's relevant. We're coming back. And if I'm not mistaken, you should be wearing a green jacket because you just won the Masters. And by the Masters, I'm not talking about that thing Tiger Woods once won. I'm talking about Nation's Restaurant News, NRN, our friends, good friends at Informa. The Menu Masters Award for Best Menu Revamp went to, and you already know it, went to you, Sherif, your team, and Friendly's. Who said an 80-year-old brand can't innovate? So, Sherif, tell us about this great thing because I'm super excited about what you guys are doing with Friendly's.
Yeah, no, Jimmy, you hit it on the head is, take an 88-year-old brand, make it relevant again, right? So you got to take the things that are memorable about the brand and you keep those, like the Jim Dandy, like the Banana Royale.
The Fribble?
The Fribble, always going to be there. But where can you make improvements around the other parts of the menu to make it more relevant, make it more appealing right now to today's consumer? And the team just did a phenomenal job of creating some great new menu items. We have huge consumer appeal and push for them.
Couple of highlights on the new menu. What are some of the things that you've like brought that you said they were all old, and this is what the new things that people want?
Yeah, so we're all about trying to bring in kind of new, what I'll call, again, Instagrammable food. Great food that people want to
gotta look good on an Instagram shot, right?
And snap photos of, right?
Yep, sure.
And so one example, our new cheese skirt burger. So take the cheese, fry it all the way down on the griddle so it becomes like a 9-inch disc that sits on the burger.
Right.
With the bun, so you're eating the fried cheese on your way to the burger, right?
Oh man, I'm getting hungry.
People taking pictures of that, and enjoying not just the great new food, but enjoying the experience of having it on their plate. Enjoying the experience.
Bringing smiles to everyone's faces again, baby.
Exactly. Right? It brings back some fun and joy, which is what restaurants need to be. Bring back the experience. Bring back more than just great food, but having a great time with your friends and family as well.
I think it's awesome. We just had on the podcast Doug Wilmarth from Mooyah Burger. Mm-hmm. And I know Jimmy's, we've already talked about it. Jimmy's summer camp ice cream chain was Dairy Queen. Jimmy's probably going to go into his Dairy Queen theme song right now.
No, I got shamed last time.
You want a few bars for us?
No. I was told to zip it, Jimmy, zip it.
Oh, really? And I told you that my camp favorite has always been Friendly's. But you guys also partnered up with BJ Novak from The Office fame to be the official ice cream partner with his summer this summer at his Eat at Chain Friendly's LA pop-up, which is a treat, just a treat for all our West Coast friends out there. Because I don't think Friendly's isn't out on the West Coast, right? That's like an East Coast thing, right?
It's not. And what's been amazing is BJ Novak's been a great partner of ours. He grew up in the Northeast, so like you.
So he knows it, right?
Very fond memories. So, yeah, he has a pop-up house, Eat at Chain, in L.A., in West Hollywood. Yep. He brings in iconic brands, anything from, Pizza Hut now to, Burger King and KFC. And so we are Friendly's, the ice cream shop at the Eat at Chain house all summer long. And which is
awesome. Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. But to your point, we had a big we had the big kind of grand opening celebrity event last month, and 500 people showed up that absolutely love Friendly's in LA, and we don't have a store there.
But you got a lot of New Yorkers, needless to say, that moved out to LA at some point. A lot of New Yorkers there. So and like you said, it's 88-year-old chain, so they know it. So I'm thinking, do you think this will be an opportunity that they'll be like, and now you'll attract some operators to be like, I got to get a Friendly's out here? I mean, are you seeing inbound now? Like
massive.
Sherif, I got to open 5 stores out in LA immediately.
Our development pipeline increased tenfold after that.
That's awesome. I think we got some other breaking news around this because this is super exciting stuff. But speaking of ice cream, speaking of Friendly's, I know we're harping on Friendly's a lot. I know there's a lot more to BRIX, but it seems like you got a lot going on with Friendly's right now. Yep. National Ice Cream Day is just around the corner, July 16th. That is actually Jimmy's favorite day of the year, next to National Pizza Day. He loves National Ice Cream Day. Friendly's is going to be the official sponsor of National Ice Cream Day. I don't even know how you can get that. There's so many great ice creams out there, but Friendly's, it really says a lot about your brand and your quality that you can be chosen as the official sponsor of National Ice Cream Day, partnering up with the Museum of Ice Cream. I didn't know there was a museum for ice cream.
Yes.
But there should be, and there's a museum for ice cream, and you're gonna create the world's largest sprinkle pool right here, Jimmy, at Rockefeller Center. You gotta put it on your calendar. Take Sylvie, Jimmy, the largest sprinkle pool at Rockefeller Center, and I mean, Sylvie's gonna love that, Jimmy.
She's going in.
Yeah. So tell us about that. How'd that all come about?
Yeah, so we love our partners at the National Ice Cream Museum. They are in Manhattan. They obviously make a big deal out of National Ice Cream Day appropriately, and we were fortunate enough to be selected as their key sponsor. And we are we're going to be there. Friendly's is going to be at Rockefeller Center. We're going to be handing out great samples of our ice cream and swag, and people will be able to get their Friendly's hats and shirts, and we're going to have a lot of fun diving into some sprinkles.
Is the event on July 16th, National Ice Cream Day?
On that day.
All right, everybody, mark your calendars. Get over to Rock Center. The Christmas tree will not be there, but Friendly's will be there, and they're going to have sprinkles and treats and swag, and God knows what's going on there. But put it in your calendar because that looks like it's going to be an unbelievable. You giving out some ice cream too?
Oh, lots of ice cream.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right, it's going to be bigger than the Christmas tree lighting. This is going to be a bigger event. What a lot of people don't know is if you actually add sprinkles to ice cream, it reduces the calories in the ice cream by like 35%. And Chatsy,
that's a fact.
I just did Chatsy math there because none of that is true, but it is delicious when you add sprinkles to the ice cream. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Listen, before we move on, I want to make sure we have a minute to talk about the industry at somewhat of a high level. Sherif, I know you're a big believer in the customer, in the guest experience. And we've learned here today, and we certainly believe in this. You're giving people a reason to come out, to go out, to get off the sofa, go out again, be with friends. I believe you compare it to the theater experience. Okay, right. You can get movies downloaded at home, but it's not the same. I mean, come on, Chatsy, Maverick or Top Gun 2 on the little screen versus the theater. Got to see it in the theater.
You got to see it in the theater, Jim.
At the theater. So, can you share some of your final thoughts in terms of on the future and growth of this sector? Especially as it relates to using tech to drive people back to in-person dining.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, I'm a big believer in how do we marry kind of great experiences with great food and create that pull for people to come back out. And I do think a lot of it can be tech enabled, right? Back to how do I personalize things for you, right? How do I ensure whether it's greeting you at the door, making sure you have your favorite drink or a personalized food item, that it's creating a pull, it's creating some excitement to get back out, to get back in that restaurant with your friends and family. And I think technology enables us to do that. So imagine our hostess has an earpiece, and knowing who you are, Jimmy, based on your phone, as you enter my restaurant, she greets you by name. She knows your favorite table.
Everyone feel warm and fuzzy. Hotels have been doing that for years.
Yep, for years.
Right? Now imagine doing that in a restaurant, right? It's like Norm back in Cheers, right? Right? We know who you are. Your beer's waiting at the door, on your table, on your spot, right? That kind of theater, that experience is critical, I think, to make sure we get people to come back and really enjoy the restaurant experience once again.
I completely agree. And I think a lot of people feel that tech is somehow going to be intrusive and reduce the guest experience. And Sherif, you just highlighted a number of factoids and ways in which we're using tech to enable a better guest experience and a more personal guest experience. And I think that's what this is about. And I think when it's done right, and I think you have it, it's going to really create a better experience for the guests because it's going to let our staff, front of house and otherwise, be that much more in touch and in tune with your wants and your needs. Listen, I want to move on to our talking back section. All listeners of the podcast know that Shats and I, that we like to talk about, and I'm not French, so that was really, I like to talk a lot, probably too much or definitely. But we learned along the way that sometimes our guests had a question or two for us. So we created Talking Back. We're going to give our guests the chance to ask us a question. I like to say nothing's off the table. Sherif, my friend, the microphone is yours.
Well, I mean, you guys obviously play again in that intersection of restaurants and technology. And one of the things I'm hearing a lot about, and I'd love your perspective on, is this whole idea of dynamic pricing for restaurants.
Good question.
Is it good? One. Is it going to piss off guests? I mean, where does it fall in your heads in terms of, is this something that we should be looking at? Do you think it's a long-term play? Is it certain sectors? I'd be interested in your thoughts.
I love it. Chatsy, let's get it on.
I think it's really important. I think you brought up a lot of really good points, and I'll take a stab at it. So first of all, I think, needless to say, we know that hospitality, restaurants are always very slow to embrace change and technology, et cetera. So this is kind of like the last part of it. We know in other sectors of hospitality, of the hospitality industry, or the travel and leisure, certainly hotels, airlines, rental cars, the Ubers and the Lyfts, those kind of things have all embraced dynamic pricing. I don't think anyone on an airplane today is paying the same price. It's based on time of year, time of day. Business travels pay more. If you want to go for Christmas, you're going to pay a lot more. At a hotel room, you want to look onto the beach. That's a different price than if you want to be on the ground floor and look into a courtyard. So the idea of having different prices is not new to the consumer. I think that dynamic pricing for restaurants is a great opportunity to increase revenues. It has to be done very thoughtfully. We have to really think about it. If the customers feel like they're being taken advantage of or ripped off, that would be horrible. But does a customer think they're being taken advantage of or ripped off, that they pay more for a hotel room during Christmas break than they do a week later in January? I don't know, but that's what we've been trained to do. So I think it has to be thoughtful. But I think for a restaurant to say that every Saturday night my price should be exactly the same as on a Monday night, when it's a supply and demand issue at the end of the day. So I think there's an opportunity. It has to be done very thoughtful. We got to think about it. And it's coming. I don't think it's like going to be tested and go away. I think it's coming. And certainly I think the low-hanging fruit is just like online ordering. When I think about online ordering and that convenience that you're now maybe getting something delivered to your house, and maybe it's snowing or it's raining, or maybe it's a high volume day based on something happening a Saturday night or something, maybe you'd pay a little bit more for that than it would be on a slower time, or it wasn't a weather related issue. So I think it has to be thoughtful, like you said. I think it's coming, and I think it is ultimately good for the industry, because I think it will be a revenue driver and help a lot of restaurant operators out a lot. So I know Jimmy's got a lot more to add to it, and it's probably going to be better, but that's my take on it. It's coming, and we got to embrace it.
I see what you tried to do. First of all, Shatsy, I thought your answer was great. I see what you tried to do there. You tried to run the clock out on me. I see what you did there. Tried to run it out on me.
This podcast can go as long as you want, Bobby.
I see what you were doing. No, listen, I actually think your answer was very good. I think the question is a very important one. First thing I would say, quite simply, is I think we got to really rethink the naming convention of dynamic pricing. I think a lot of people a lot of consumers, they hear dynamic pricing and they think Uber surcharge, Lyft surcharge, and it's always negative. And so I think, first of all, I think we really have to think about this as revenue management.
Do you have any ideas, Jimmy? Revenue management?
Well, that's one of the things I'm kicking around. Dynamic pricing makes people think of Uber surcharging when it rains. But to your point, thoughtful, you said. I also feel it has to be done with high integrity, and I say very good
transparency.
Communication and transparency. To your point, Shatsy, no one's paying the same price on an airline, but there are very few airlines that go these direct routes, so you have less choices. When you're going out to eat, if the guest feels that you're trying to sneak one past him or her, or it was done without transparency, without communication, without high integrity, they can go next door and find a place to eat. It may not be where they wanted to go, but the risk that we as an industry face with revenue management, aka dynamic pricing, is that we have a relationship with the guest that is uniquely different than some of these other industries. So I do think the guest is prepared to pay more for getting something they want, either maybe paying more to get a better seat at the table, to get a better reservation, or maybe pay less if they're willing to eat at a less prime time. But at the end of the day, communication, transparency, high integrity, and it's revenue management.
Jimmy, I think I'm just hearing this. This is coming off the wires right now, Jimmy, on my earpiece.
Yes.
Breaking news. Dynamic pricing has just been renamed revenue management, according to Jimmy Frischling, branded strategic hospitality. Look at that breaking news. Thank you, Jimmy, for renaming that. We're calling it RM. All kidding aside, I love it.
I want 1/10 of 1 penny every time someone says revenue management, and I will be a very wealthy.
Jimmy has coined a phrase, and we have just called our trademark and patent attorney, and it is now ours, Jimmy. We own that, so thank you for that. All kidding aside, let's get this baby going, because we got a lot to cover, okay? We've got the food service feud coming on. This is the best part of the podcast. It is the celebrity edition. And as you know, so many famous actors, famous singers, famous people, celebrities got their start in this industry we love. They were waiters, they were bartenders, they were busboys, they were cooks, whatever. We know it happens all the time. So keeping with that theme, we asked a couple 100 million people on LinkedIn on our weekly poll, And I have the answer here. Sherif, do you want to play with us a little food service feud celebrity edition?
Food service
Jimmy,
feud.
I know you're ready. Get your hands on the buzzer. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to give you the 4 choices, and you guys let me know what you think, who the right answer is. Okay. Which Texas-born celebrity worked at a local Friendly's restaurant before starting a career in acting? Is it A, Angela Jolie? Is it Hilary Duff? Was it Steve Martin or Matt LeBlanc?
I'm going with Matt LeBlanc.
Whoa, I got to tell you, Jimmy, you know who beat you? Sherif beat you. And got to tell you, ding, 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 Matt LeBlanc, this man knows his Friendly's history. Matt LeBlanc was, before he was on Friends, worked at Friendly's. You see what he did there? So maybe that was, kind of
maybe that was it.
Serendipitous or something like that. But yes, Matt LeBlanc worked at Friendly's before going on to Friends. So that is a really interesting little trivia. And I know Jimmy's going to be using that probably when he comes to Chicago for NRA. He's going to be throwing that one out at every dinner he can, And I got to tell you something, but just another great example of labor and hour work and what they're doing and the ability to be able to hire great people on a great platform like that. I mean, I wonder, would Matt LeBlanc be on Hour Work? And Friendly should be using Hour Work because you get quality people like Matt LeBlanc.
There you go.
We may never have had a Joey Tribbiani without Friends. Look at that. Sorry, without Friendly's, we may not have had a Joey Tribbiani. Okay, listen.
That's the point, Jimmy.
Yes,
without
there you go.
Friendly's, there'd be no Joey. Without
Joey, there may be no Friends. Look at that.
Well, there'd be one less friend.
One less friend. When a butterfly waves, flaps its wings in China, we get a tsunami over here. Anyway, look what Friendly just did. All right, at the top of the show, we played the game, and now we're going to wrap up this game. 3 facts about our friend Sherif. 2 were true. 1 is false. A quick reminder. Fact 1, Sherif met his wife on a dating app. Fact 2, Sherif competed in the Junior Olympics. Fact 3, Sherif attended every major sporting event across all sports at least once. Schatz, you are undefeated in this. What says you?
Okay, here's what I'm thinking, okay? I'm thinking that Sherif has attended every major sporting event across all sports at least once. Because I got to be honest with you. I mean, we're talking about 4 sports, right? It's not that hard to do, right? Right?
I agree with that. I think that one's true. Although maybe it's so attainable that's the ruse. Maybe it's the ruse.
Really? Well, I think Sherif did meet his wife on the dating app. How about that? I think he did. So I am going to say that he met his wife on a dating app, and I'm going to say that he competed in the Junior Olympics. And I'm going to say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Chad,
They're all true.
The game, no, that would be too much of a ruse on us. There's 2 true, 1 false.
He was not in the Junior Olympics, Jimmy.
Okay, I think
Schatz,
I think your perfect record is in jeopardy right now. But Sherif, tell us the 2 truths and a lie.
The lie is I did not meet my wife on a dating app.
Boom! I was going Junior Olympics. I like that one.
Damn it!
I saw it. Let the record show. So wait, first of all, Sherif, tell us about the Junior Olympics.
I competed. I was a wrestler growing up. So
love it.
I competed for the U.S. in the Junior Olympics in Germany.
Boom. Shazzy, I'm sorry. Listen, I was cheering for.
How did you meet your wife? How did you meet your wife?
Well, she worked for me at one point.
Was this Hollywood video days? Was this restaurant days?
Before when I was back as a consultant in the retail space.
By the way, somebody else. There we go. I was going to say someone else on this podcast met their wife on the job working for somebody.
Jimmy?
Oh yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I gotta tell you.
We worked together, but then we weren't working together. But
that's
right.
How you matter. That's how you matter.
You're right. We met at work. That's right. 3 for 3 on this call.
So
3 for 3.
We've all met our significant other at work, and I got to tell you, to me, it's the best place to meet people. I don't know why they're poo-pooing the idea of meeting someone at work. You spend so much time there, but that's a story for another time when I get into it on the podcast.
Our attorney just called and said, "Get off that topic, please."
Get off that topic. That's an HR nightmare, so we'll leave that alone. Let's get into the branded quickfire. Okay, it's another great segment. It's according to Nielsen ratings that just came in yesterday, the highest rated segment on any podcast in the industrialized world is the branded quickfire. Sherif, I'm going to ask you 5 lightning round questions. Don't think too long. Don't think too hard. Just first thing comes to your mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Where did you meet your wife? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Black raspberry.
Nice.
I love that. And it's like purple.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's my favorite flavor. And Friendly's has it.
Quick fire.
I'm sorry. When you say that, that's such a good flavor. Where are you getting dinner from tonight?
I'm going to get dinner from Whiskey Cake.
Nice.
Great front burner restaurant group here in Dallas.
Oh, I love it. What is your favorite food city in the world?
With all due respect to the coast, it's got to be Chicago.
Chicago?
Right now, I got to tell you, I had a steak dinner last night. Let me tell you something. They know a thing or two about steak. They really do. Unbelievable.
And
yeah, they got some good food here. I agree. I'm with a whole bunch of Chicago people. Where's your favorite place to travel?
Turks and Caicos.
Nice.
You can't go wrong with Turks and Caicos in the Caribbean. All right, here we go. This is the big one. This is where things get a little hairy and people get into trouble and friends are made and friends are lost. Okay? If you were to challenge Jimmy or I to an old school game of Donkey Kong, you played video games, you know a little something about video games. Yep. Who do you have better odds of beating? And I'd love that Donkey Kong with that big.
I'm going to say I have a better chance of beating Jimmy than you, Shatsy.
I agree. Jimmy don't like video games.
Yeah, Jimmy's some numbers guy. He's
No, actually, I'm good with that. I'm good to. I think you're right. I think you'd beat Shatsy. I got to tell you, throughout junior high and high school,
you.
No, I'm saying I think you'd have a better odds of beating me.
Okay.
You would be tougher. I'm sorry. You won this one because he beat me because while you were perfecting your Donkey Kong and Space Invaders, well, you were middle school, junior high school, college. You were Mr. Video Game, and I was, what's the word for that? I don't know. Social. I was.
Oh, that's what you were doing. Oh, okay. Well,
I was out. I was playing. I
was like the local 7-Eleven or pizza place playing the Space Invaders during class or Pac-Man, 100%. Yeah, I agree. Listen, I'm a video game freak. I got to tell you, The Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite games. They just came out with another one, just launched like a couple days ago. My oldest is already playing it. I love video games. What am I going to tell you?
And there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, Sherif, we want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast and sharing all your great insights. Really appreciate and value what you guys and your team are doing, not just with legacy and brands that you're refreshing and bringing back, but now even launching new ones in Pizza Jukebox. So super exciting things you're doing and really looking forward to these next chapters and following up with you on the success of Pizza Jukebox, which the name just makes me smile. To our listeners, if you want to get in touch with Sherif directly, you can email the podcast team at podcast@brandedstrategic.com. We'd be happy to make the introduction. And it goes without saying to our listeners, we want to thank you so much for tuning in. We don't get to do this show for 9+ seasons and have the fortunate, the nicety of getting to have folks like Sherif and other guests come on the show if you guys aren't continuing to tune in. Our subscriber base is growing exponentially. Also, a special thank you.
When we first started the podcast and the only people on the podcast were you and I. Now look at where we've come.
Look where we've come. Yes. Look where we've come. And by the way, how do you get on the show? I don't know. You asked. That's how you get on the show. Well, listen, and to our friends at Our Work, we're a long ways away from Chico's Bail Bonds being our sponsor and our podcast partner. So we want to thank Our Work for what you're doing for the industry and now what you're really doing for us. And we're excited to have you part of that. If you want to learn more about Our Work, please check out their website at ourwork.com. So without further ado, I'm just giving a huge shout out to Sherif. Congratulations to the entire BRIX team. I'm going to pass it back to my boy Shatsy to close this out.
Thanks, Jimbo. I have a couple things to say before we close out. One of them is ourwork.com. The greatest jingle ever in the history. Listen, everybody, thanks for tuning in. And listen, Sherif, if everybody, you got so many brands, I can't give one, but if I go to BRIX Holdings, do I see all? Do I go to friendlies.com?
BRIX Holdings.
And what about friendlies.com?
Friendlies Restaurants.com.
And the new pizza is at pizzajukebox.com?
Pizzajukebox.com.
And check out those, because those are the iconic ones, and that's the new one. So check those out. But BRIXHoldings.com, you'll see all the great brands that they have. Everybody, thank you for joining the Hospitality Hangout. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.